You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
You guys ready?
It's hard to tell.
5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, the Outlaw, LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMShow75. Jeez, I feel like I've said that like 151 times, man. This is getting repetitive.
I'm going to say you've said it probably 160 times because a few episodes you've had to repeat yourself when we talk over you.
Welcome to
another edition. 200 then.
162.
It's amazing. You feel like you'd forget those things. Anyway, up there is at Byron Fever. Over there is at Lucha Gringo. On this side of me is at Meef Loaf. We are the denizens. We're the delicious daddies of the denizens of deliciousness.
Mm-hmm.
On the tasty good show, MMM show. Anyway, I want to start this episode off with not something really new, but I want to do what I call tasty news since we're the show. And I want to get into a couple things real quick. First of all, I almost feel like adding Rey Fenix to the wall of shame. Is that surprising anyone?
Why?
I think Rey Fenix should go on the wall of shame. We can put it to a vote. So, well, his trademark got denied.
Oh, well.
You thought it was because of his wrestling? No. Clearly, he is the best wrestler in the world right now. If it's not Kenny Omega, they're 1 and 2, one way or the other. I would say there's an argument for Kenny. I personally feel it's Rey Fenix. You could say Kenny Omega. I don't know that you could really say that it's anyone else currently in 2021.
I mean, I think Rey Fenix can cut a better promo. I think Kenny looked at a bag of cocaine 2 months ago and he's still not off of it.
Dude, it's the fucking pre-workouts that sponsor him, dude. That's what it is. He's taking those pre-workouts too much.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is something a little off about the Kenny Omega thing still to me, but there's something a little bit magical in that. I still go back to, in my mind, that moment when they started AEW and all 4 guys were in the ring or whatever, and it was supposed to be Kenny that was supposed to cut the dramatic, big, heartfelt part of the promo announcing this AEW thing, and he just sucked. I mean, he was so bad in that promo moment, and it was like this guy was like the biggest star in the world at the time, and somehow he took the life out of that whole segment to me, and to this day, it still resonates to me, and it's one of the reasons why I can't still say that Kenny is the top guy, but also, I mean, it's not like Rey Fenix gets a chance to cut a whole bunch of promos either.
No.
Well, Don is a great pairing for him because Don remembers the bullet points. And he also, from the side, and I harp on this, but the first Impact beatdown backstage he pointed to the dudes and he's like, Bullet Club. And Don is like, the Good Brothers. And we have a match next week. But I think that's authentic for him, though. That's just who he is. I suffered through the last AEW Games update video.
Oh God!
A whole lot of nothing.
There wasn't any updates except something they'll have in within 60 days, which no one cares about. But Saban was on there, and right, Superbad.
Kip Sabian.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was just reading about
There's a big difference.
I was reading about the Motor City Machine Gun guy who lost a spot in the match at TNA for no reason. I don't know why. But he said it's complicated reasons. But yeah, it was Kip Sabian who was trying to do something.
Sorry, I got distracted. Max Holloway's walking out right now.
Oh, I thought you were finishing the fight.
Well, no. The Carlos Condit, Matt Brown fight. We're recording this on Saturday for those of you who are hearing this on Tuesday or Wednesday. So the UFC is on ABC. First time they've had combat sports in 20 years on ABC since a Holyfield fight in 2000 or something weird.
And it wasn't even a good one. Yeah.
No. But I mean, pay-per-view was already there's a reason why ABC walked away from combat sports altogether. Pay-per-view is where the real money is. It's not like they could afford for an afternoon of ad buys on a Saturday to be paying these boxers what they were making in pay-per-view or what HBO was giving them and these other premium content platforms. But now with the UFC, this is like one of their regular fight night events. But the two headlining fights are great. Anyway, go back to what you were saying, Byron. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So
I got excited. I saw Max Holloway come out. 10th Island, man. I
like that you have it on in the background. We'll get it.
I guess Abu Dhabi is like 14th Island or something. I don't know.
You're bootlegging the show now. 3 of us get to watch it live for free.
No, I'll do this.
I mean, it's literally on Channel 7, bro. We could watch it for free.
It's on free TV. It's on regular ABC for the first time ever. So
yeah. Anyway, that thing was a bunch of nothing. And Kenny was just not working with Sabian as far as trying to have chemistry and personality.
Would you know he's a chode? Like, who cares?
It's all right, but they're talking about video games. Kenny just wasn't good. And he was repeating stuff over and over again that I guess
he was really shit on the announcement video.
Yeah,
it was really boring and drab, and it was just like, wow, you're really excited for
that's just who he is, which is why what they're doing with him.
Well, great, so he needs a personality. That's the new thing, then.
He kind of does that sort of thing, and then they have the other guy to punch him up, which is cool. So it works for him,
Well, I mean, I don't know, but back to my original point of Rey Fenix and whether or not we should put him on the wall of shame. Like, look, obviously, we can debate it forever, and I'm sure we will continue to. Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix both are definitely top guys in the entire business. I'm not just talking about that promotion.
Right.
And I hope that Rey gets treated that way this year. But regardless, this whole Rey Fenix getting his trademark thing kicked back. Kevin Kleinrock had some really good information this week on the Lucha Central Weekly in English. No, but I almost also disputed a little bit, as much as Kleinrock is our overlord. He does know quite a bit about trademarks, and he's filed a few himself, and he's got good inside info, especially with Lucha Bros stuff, because he's got to deal with it as being one of the marketers of some of their products through Mass Republic. But he basically said, like, look, it's not uncommon for a trademark to get kicked back for something minor. It doesn't necessarily mean that there was a claim from AAA or somebody else, but that, you have to show a few things clearly, or there can be they can ask for a different exhibit or whatever that, however you're using the trademark. It's also weird when you're trademarking names, because you have to show that as a product, though there is, of course, a precedent in wrestling for that. They may want you to provide that precedent that shows that a name of an individual is actually a branded trademark, as opposed to, just something you should register as your name.
Another thing to that is that when he changed his name from Phoenix to Rey Fenix, it came out that there are an infinite number of arcing out luchadors named Rey Fenix.
Right. And and herein lies my issue. Okay, so his trademark got kicked back. Maybe Kleinrock is correct in that there's nothing suspect there at all with AAA or Lucha Libre FMV, who actually owns the rights to the Phoenix name.
Don't get me started, because Byron may have seen it, though. I had to get into I got into a discussion. No, actually, sorry, it was in an English one. My friends were talking about it, and someone posted up this thing about someone done an article about Rey Fenix, and I was just like, that's all bullshit. And they're like, well, what do you mean it's all bullshit? This guy knows what he's talking about. Well, firstly, they don't own his name, and it's actually owned by. And I started going through this whole list of stuff to dismay the article. But there was an article which was just talking utter dog shit.
Well, maybe they need to be on the wall of shame too. So, but I mean, it's complicated. I get that people don't understand that this is not your typical wrestling talk. Yeah. This is not, kayfabes and backstage beers here. This is really complicated U.S. and international trademark law stuff that we're talking about, and intellectual properties. But here's my thing about the Rey Fenix thing. He does have access to guys like Kevin Kleinrock and other people, and Conan and people who can give him good insight and information business-wise. And he is a brand unto himself, and he is making money off of his likeness and his branding and his name. So why the hell did he wait as long as he did to file the trademark claim? This is why he should be on the Wall of Fame, not for getting rejected, but the fact that he should have been rejected 2 years ago so that he would know what the hell he was dealing with before he started selling merchandise under this name, so he would know if he needed to go a different direction.
When did he file?
Well, if it just now got rejected, it can't have been that long ago. I mean, sometimes it's a few months or whatnot, but it wasn't. He came up with the name and has been using it for how long? 2.5 years?
I think the original Rey Fenix one was done. He filed it in America and Mexico, I think, when he changed it. But it's a lighter version, I think. I don't think it's the, grand version that he's actually going for now.
Okay, because
there's different levels, isn't there? Obviously.
Well, there's copywriting it, and then there's trademarking it, and there's two differences there. He may have copywritten it, or just for usage purposes, but not trademarked it. Trademarking it is pretty undeniable. Like Coca-Cola is a trademark. There's no one else on the planet that's going to use the name Coca-Cola for something.
I'll use it.
You can try.
Welcome to Masks, Mats, and Coca-Cola.
Hey, but if you're a big American company like Budweiser, you can literally take the name of a Slovakian or Czech company, and you even make beer, do this exact same thing, and get away with it.
But this is exactly why you should trademark your stuff and trademark it specifically in the regions you're using it.
Yeah, you guys remember the Star Wars car wash in the Valley that was allowed to call it that because it wasn't a movie? Eventually, trademark laws changed, and they're not allowed to be the Star Wars car wash anymore.
Right,
but
because of cross branding laws and whatnot.
Yeah, it was in like Van Nuys or something like that.
God, if it was still like that, we could do this as the Coca-Cola podcast, and we could run Super Bowl commercials because they're not even going to this. They're not doing a Coca-Cola Super Bowl ad this year. How crazy is that?
Wow. We're not a soda pop, but we are
delicious. Nice work there. Nicely done.
Anyway, we could end the show on the
it was interesting. It was interesting news to me that Rey Fenix claim got kicked back. Obviously, they will provide whatever information was missing from that first version and file again. And the chances of it going through are still decent, unless one of those other low-level Rey Fenixes has attempted to do it before. But I seriously doubt that that's the issue.
They would need more than $4 to be
there could be some practicality issues though with the fact that the Phoenix name with the F is registered to Lucha Libre FMV. That could still be an issue. Trademark Office could find that because it is a similarly branded product without enough of a change in the name. It's basically if someone trademarked Phoenix, you can't necessarily go and trademark Mr. Phoenix, and saying King Phoenix may or may not prove to be unique.
Yeah, and Rey is actually a name.
Yeah, it could be very difficult to do. It's just a question of who over at the trademark office is looking at it and what you want to do and how much.
All right.
That's an important lesson, though. That's something that we don't do enough of as a Lucha Libre podcast is teach people Spanish.
Yeah, we also don't do enough talking about fucking copyrights on the show either.
We never talk about copyright. No lawsuits.
That's also part of Lucha Libre. You don't talk about copyright.
Well, then let me get to the other tasty news.
No, you talk about them. You don't do them.
I'm starving. Let's get to the next tasty news.
Let me give you the next tasty news thing. Here, this one is jacked up. Mandy Rose and Lana both making the top 100 sponsored individuals on Instagram are both giving up over $500,000 a year now because of the change in policy at WWE. And here's
more than what they're making a year there. Then they're down.
That's just Instagram. Just Instagram making over $500,000 each on just
one. 600,000.
Did someone do a whistle?
Was it?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. At any point, you give up $40,000 a year from that. It's crazy. But so here's my issue. Okay, let's say you are Dominic Purcell or some actor, and you're in some DC show. You can still do a sponsored post on your Instagram all day long as an actor. But here's the thing. You're doing it under your own name. I think really what needs to happen is if wrestlers really want to fight Vince, if they want to find the loophole, if they want to make the difference, they should do all their social media under their real names.
But they do.
This is where the issue is, though, because he's turned around and said that he owns their real names.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's in their contract. It's in their contract.
Oh, Jesus.
It is in their contract that he owns their real fucking names.
And some of them they're being requested, their permission is being requested, and they're beginning to say no, like Keith Lee, I think, and some others. But there was a while ago where they started using their own names, and I think that might have been to get around it. Sasha Banks is throwing her real name around, but she's also, I think, starting like what is it?
She was on The Mandalorian, bro.
Yeah, so she's non-wrestling stuff. She's using her real name, which I totally get, and I think that's the way to go. It's just
it's crazy to me. It's like, imagine Robert Downey does a Gillette spot on his IG. It's Robert Downey doing a Gillette spot. Yeah, he's freaking Iron Man. But that doesn't mean that Disney deserves a cut of his Gillette money from his IG. Yes, they made him famous. Yes, they are a big reason why he's a huge international superstar. I get it, but he's making a deal on his own time, on his own social media. And here's the problem with wrestling. Wrestlers want to be in character all the time to a certain extent. It's this old kayfabe mentality of you are the character all the time. But now it is coming back to bite wrestlers in the ass. Can we not just go to a world as viewers and fans where it is okay for them to be one thing on TV and then off TV be something else and just be an actor or a performer in a role?
It helps some careers.
Lana's character changes every fucking week anyway.
Yeah. And Lana, her social media has nothing to do with whatever she does on camera. But I think I have a couple points, but I think the main one is we're going to see how this plays out with Thea Trinidad, right? Mm-hmm. Because she called the bluff. She invested in herself, and she's doing the thing and making that money, which is probably more than what she was making with WWE. But was she making that because of WWE? We'll find out. Like, are they going to make $500,000 a year, $600,000 a year if they're not on TV?
Obviously not. But also, if their contract is only paying them $100,000 a year, and all of a sudden they're walking away from another $500,000, that's a big issue. That's a problem.
But exactly. No, I totally get it.
And that might not be the case for all of these guys, but some of these guys on lower level contracts, that extra, 10 to 30K that they make a year doing some kind of outside promotional stuff. And I don't think that stuff hurts the WWE either. I think it brings people back to the product and keeps people invested in the product, personally.
I think WWE is going to try to do their own. See, I was looking at that today, and I think it sucks, but I also think, they're hired for all of that stuff. It's within their contract. If they're getting underpaid for it, they're getting underpaid for it, but that's in their contract.
All I know is
what I'm thinking, that might be
is Andrew Young in yet? We need Andrew Young in.
That might be the new pay-per-view type money that they miss out on because of the network, is to do those things. Maybe WWE helps broker it and takes a cut, but you still get to do it.
Well, that's fine too, but I mean, that's what they do with their movies and farming guys out and farming out their intellectual property of their characters to be in featured films. It helps them. The guy gets their regular paycheck for doing it as an actor, and then the WWE broker the deal as like basically management, so they get a little taste of it. But usually they're invested in the actual product as well, so then they're making money there. They got to figure out a better way to work this out. This is crazy time.
Yeah,
their idea is to do it themselves and get all the money.
You also,
that's literally the way we do it. I mean, all of us are making low six figures from being on the Mass Republic Podcast Network, Lucha Central Podcast Network. But I mean, would we like it to be the high six figures? Of course we would.
Yeah, Kevin, are you listening, Kevin?
Yeah.
Do the six figures include decimal points?
We know you're making a ton of money.
They're in there.
Because I'm making $6.
They're all to the right of that decimal point. It's 60% that you're making right now. Okay.
I don't know. I had thoughts and stuff, and now it's all gone.
Well, I know. That just frustrated me to a certain extent. I mean, we know a lot of performers, and it's sad to see that they get to what is clearly the show still in wrestling. It is the biggest venue. There's an argument to be made that AEW is a big venue, but if you look at what WWE is like, look, I don't focus a lot on WWE because I personally, and what this show has always liked, is we like seeing the guys that are on the come up and building up and that are doing the hard work outside of WWE. We know what the WWE product is. We've all been fans of it at some point, maybe not to an extreme sense, but at times there have been WWE eras that we have all liked. And there's a reason for it. It's the big show. It's the big dance. It's where the big stuff happens. But us personally, like, I was an ECW fan back in the day. I liked I liked WCW, but I liked the mid card on WCW.
Yeah,
you know, those were the guys I was really watching. I wasn't turning.
I thought you liked Sting.
That's
I
because
did not like Sting.
That's because the mid card was a lot of ECW guys.
Yeah, he liked fucking Shane Douglas. Okay,
Shane Douglas.
Microwaving.
But realistically, I liked the luchadors that were in WCW. I liked Chris Jericho. I liked Vampiro when he was in WCW. I even liked Disco Inferno. I thought there was a good run in there.
No one liked Disco Inferno.
Dude, that leg lock gimmick was the best gimmick in professional wrestling.
I like some of the undercard guys. I loved Norman Smiley, Alex Wright back then, all those guys.
It was
that stuff.
Prince Ikea Jr.
I could have cared less what Buff Bagwell was doing. I didn't like
Prince Ikea. Prince Ikea fucking sucked.
Not Prince Ikea.
I love Prince Ikea. I loved him for no reason.
I wasn't even that big a fan of Hall and Nash when they came in. I wasn't that big a fan of Hogan. I wasn't a big fan of Buff Bagwell. I wasn't a big fan of Sting.
No one likes Buff Bagwell.
Goldberg was an interesting exercise in what you could do with television, but it wasn't wrestling by any stretch of the imagination. You know, so the top of the card at WCW was not why I was glued to that show back then. It was all that other fun.
You have missed one person though out of this entire list.
Michael.
He's missed
Raven.
He's missed. Raven. No. Okay, first of all, he didn't say Ultimo fucking Dragon, my favorite.
I know. The Tiger Suplex changed my life.
And Eddie Guerrero, come the fuck on.
Of course. But but that's also an obvious one.
And Hoovy.
And Eddie, I would also argue, was kind of
Hoovy in his merch shipping game. Yeah,
I hate to say it, but I was definitely a fan of Juventud Guerrera.
My mother was a massive fan of Juventud Guerrera.
Because he's so handsome. Did she want some of the juice?
She did, and he once, when I said that online, he turned around and said to tell her to stay juicy. And
I bet she did. I don't want to get into your mother's juiciness, but
he's gonna fill your mom up with the juice.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I don't mind the juice as a stepdad. Imagine that.
Dude, that would be amazing. If
then you could help him with his merch, and maybe I would actually get it.
No, and then Meef would get to be Juventud Guerrera Jr.
Oh. Yes. Let's do it. Let's sort this out. Come on.
Hoovy Jr. Yes.
She's 62, Hoovy. She's
oh my god.
She's good to go. She's good to go.
Just for the listeners to verify, Meatloaf is willing to sell his own mother to Juventud Guerrera. I'm just saying.
Oh, or any other luchador for that matter.
The whole point I was making
offers are available.
Is yes, we all understand that WWE is the big show, but Raw and SmackDown are not our focus. They never will be. They're kind of an afterthought, but it's not that I don't watch them. I watch them from time to time. I stay abreast of it. But here on this show, you'll see us cover NXT and AEW, maybe some indie stuff, some Japanese stuff, some cool, fun old stuff that me or Casey probably like, or and a lot of Lucha Libre stuff that Meef likes.
I was watching some ECW today, and speaking of the word abreast that you used, I saw why Tommy Dreamer has to wear a shirt.
Wow.
I also got to say, look,
jiggle, Tommy.
Anytime you go on YouTube for an old WCW Saturday night match, it's going to be good. And if you want to have some fun, look up the old Johnny B. Bad matches. Those are always fun. He had a good rivalry.
Dude, remember when
he was so great in that gimmick, and him and Stunning Steve Austin had a great rivalry. They even had a great tuxedo match.
Dude, I'm telling you, when Johnny B. Bad got shot in the face with a bad blaster and was hideously disfigured and had to wear the mask for a little while?
Wow. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was so Max Payne fucking killed him. Max Payne was the shit.
I know Max Payne's son. I used to hang out with him. It's really weird. No, because you could tell that he grew up in a carny world and lifestyle, and he's not okay. He's not okay at all.
Give it up for Man Mountain Rock.
Yeah, his kid's in a metal band that I used to produce back in the day, and he is real fucked up in the head. I'm not gonna lie.
Did his documentary come out, Man Mountain Rocks? One footage of Louis Spicoli doing like 30 somas.
Oh,
it was
allegedly. I mean, is it allegedly if that's how he died? Like, do we have to say allegedly?
Yeah, it's sad. Louis Spicoli rules, by the way. Spicoli driver.
Spicoli was the absolute shit, dude. If you have not seen his work as Madonna's boyfriend in Mexico, oh shit, he was great. He was great. You can see it on, you know what? He was on the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view. I think that might be the only like clip of it on the network of him doing it, but it's great.
That's cool. You should watch it. And that's a great point. The part I like about it the best is that WWE wrestlers aren't going to get the liberties that actors get because they don't have a union and therefore they don't have enough value to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, it's an issue. Something needs to be done about it. All right. Something needs to be done about the length of the segment. So why don't we take a quick break? We'll send it on over to Denise Salcedo over in Lucha Central to find out everything that's happening this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the Podcast Network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Fabi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central. Have a great week.
Yeah. And we're back. Wait, am I allowed to say that again, Byron? Am I allowed to do that?
I mean, rules are rules.
And we're back.
No,
we're back.
That's
we didn't do it last week. You look blurry, Byron. Are you high?
No, my camera's going in and out of focus.
Down it. We can't actually
why.
sing
Ew.
Hey, normally I would have covered it in tasty news, but you guys have any fun stuff that you've acquired this week?
No.
Yeah, so
you didn't get your box, Byron? I thought you were gonna unbox something.
Yeah, I'll let Byron get his shit ready while I do mine.
I'm supposed to have gotten my AEW dolls in the mail Wednesday.
Oh,
Your
postman's not bringing them to you because he knows you say dolls.
So I don't have those, and I went to several Targets and Walmarts the past couple of days. And
blowing up my phone the whole fucking time, saying, "Where should I go? Should I go?" And I just say yes. And then he asked me if he should go 10 more times. And then he finally goes, and they don't have anything. But if he would have gone when I said to go, they would have been there. You motherfucker!
I believe they have them here in Cleveland. I have to go and look.
Oh,
I had to.
If they have them, I might want to buy something from you and pay for the shipping.
Cleveland's a wrestling city, but it's really a WWE town. Maybe because of Gargano and The Miz, who knows? But
Justin, I want to remind you, first of all, who spearheaded the PS4 project. I also want to remind you that if you sent me the Penta instead of Byron, he would be really upset. And it would
okay. Well, I will do this. I vow that during the week I will go and look. I won't go to a Target on a weekend because it's a little too COVID-y for my taste. But
absolutely,
I will go during the week and I'll see what they have here because this Target here doesn't. The toy section seems to always be really stocked. I mean, it's not really.
Yeah, that's
huge.
Not like
teasing now.
It's not like that in California.
It's hood adjacent, and there's a Walmart right across the street. So I think they get hit a lot more for the toys than the Target does. So it's a lot more, moms shopping in the Target there and not kids.
Lame.
What you need to do, Justin, is you need to get 2 boxes and send them both at the same time to Byron and Casey, and get them to open it live on air and see who gets a figure and who gets a box of cola.
That's terrible. That's
just
so mean.
See what you find and let me know. The thing is, the boss fight, the boss fight Lucha Bros are going to be way better, and those are the ones I want, and I'm eventually going to get them in like 2025. But I do want an AEW Penta, an AEW Jericho, and I'm gonna
hold on. I need to block this fight more with my shoulder so that I'm not giving away.
So you want Fat Jericho for your shelves?
That would be so awesome.
I want to switch heads, so you have the Jericho that was at All Out or whichever one it was in the Penta gear. That's what I want to do.
It was all in. It was all in.
Yeah, so I want to. That's what I would want to do. Otherwise, the AEW Penta and Phoenix ones are kind of bad. However, what I do have,
just make sure you put it on a flat surface.
Yeah, so I do have a Genius of the Sky.
You got to put that full screen, brother. That's a little too small in the 4-box.
Yeah,
that's the one with the very donkey teeth.
Oh God, take it off full screen.
Look, I have a Genius of the Sky. I got this. I'm a big EO fan. I was watching her at Stardom, but I got this one. I'm just showing it off because I don't have anything new. Well, I do, but
that is actually a very good figure. That's pretty.
Well, it's the best female wrestling action figure ever made. Let's
wait until we see the face close up, Justin, because the face. Is this one okay? Because with the last one we saw was
good.
It's okay. Yeah, I like it, but she's a little wobbly, But I also got this after she did the trash can spot off the top of the cage, and back it's kind of mixed.
And it's also because you tried to have sex with it.
I was going to say, it looks like there's been some wankage going on with that.
Yeah,
I think it's gone up a bit. It's gone up a bit.
I'm just going to say I usually have a good sense of humor, and I can riff and all that stuff, and I know you're supposed to one-up, but for legal reasons, I'm going to say to everyone that, no, I have not had sex with any of my dolls, and I do not plan to.
Okay. Near them, though? Like adjacent to them?
Maybe.
Okay, that's all I'm just...
He makes them watch.
Oh, man.
This is the Shinsuke that I painted.
Why does the paint look so bad? Oh, never mind.
Does it look bad? It's not always.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, get in focus.
After a 5-hour conversation with Byron on how to buy fucking paints.
Put it in front of your face because it's focusing on your eyeballs. There you go.
Meef, I had a 5-hour conversation on how to get out of the house and buy action figures. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go outside the house at COVID. Anyway, so this is
I'll get something.
New Japan Shinsuke, which is great.
You think Shinsuke will ever go back?
He maybe for like a retirement thing, but I think he loves what he's doing, and also apparently he's getting another run now.
I mean, which is fine, and I get it, but God, I would love to see him go back, especially right now. I feel like there's enough of a void where Shinsuke would like put.
Hold on. Justin, Byron, pick up all that shit off the floor. Jesus Christ.
Are you getting dirty underwear?
No,
underwear?
I cleared
That's your hockey jock strap. That's gross. That's the grossest thing I've ever seen on this program.
What?
Even grosser than when I showed my scaping.
No, it's not. What? On
the floor? Byron, whatever. I'm moving on now. Let's talk about AEW real quick.
Where?
I got.
Yeah. Since Byron can't unbox shit,
I can unbox this.
What is that? I can't see it. Reflection. Turn it to the side. 40-degree angle. There you go.
This is.
Is that the Rhodes?
The Rhodes.
Is there a baby Rhodes in that box too?
Yeah. No, it's just
the bloody
that
figures.
Dustin is apparently 7'4", 500 pounds.
This is the Blood Feud set here.
Blood Feud, and I'm very excited by this.
It's the Blood and Guts.
Wait, you're opening it?
Don't do it, Byron.
Sorry.
Don't do it, Byron. It's worth too much money.
No, it's not. Oh, we're already messing it up.
First of all, let it breathe. Rip the package like a man.
How is this worth too much money? I bought it retail off eBay.
No, it's going to be, surely.
Why didn't? First of all, don't call me Shirley. Second of all, why didn't you buy it from Ringside Collectibles like a normal person?
Because they were sold out.
Oh,
that would be a good reason.
That's why I tried.
That's
but
why
then
it's worth money.
I bought it for the same price off of eBay.
All right, open it up because your face on the one shot's killing me here.
dude, this whole thing is so slow. I've gone through a whole fucking pro wrestling crate in the time it took to open a flap.
Focus.
That's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know, Byron, when I unbox things, I open them first to take off all the twisty ties and shit. So good luck with that.
Well, I don't think we're gonna go that far today, but
go on, Byron. Show me, Byron. I got things to show off.
Look at Cody's hands.
But also,
that's like the fisting Cody Rhodes. Get a close up of those bloody fists of Cody.
Wow.
He said it's a lot of time on the road. Anyone who lives in hotel rooms for a living has seen that hand before.
Wow.
Anyway, also look.
Does he have the neck tat? I can't tell.
Look at Dustin's face.
He didn't have it in that match.
Oh, that's correct. You're right.
Look at Dustin's face. This, I don't think that's doing him any favors.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Lord, yeah.
Hey, you guys.
So Cody doesn't have the tattoo, but you can get a decal to put it on if you want. So that's this. Let's
talk scale really quickly, Byron, because these are supposed to be in fucking scale. Look, okay, so this is the Andre the Giant figure I just got. This is Bobby Heenan for scale, okay? Okay, you see that?
Right.
Okay, look at the difference in height between these two. Now look at the difference in height between Cody and fucking Goldust, bro.
So we're saying that Dustin is basically 7 feet tall.
7'4", 500 pounds. Yes,
500 pounds. Yes, he's a giant. He steps over the top rope.
Yeah.
I get it.
Dude, how fucking big is the Luchasaurus figure gonna have to be?
Yeah,
I love
boxes.
How Cody is like super. He's pretty even keeled and all that, but he's still a bit carny. He's still a bit of like a stubborn pit bull sort of competitive type. You know, like he wants to outbench the next guy, this and that. And now he sees his brother, whose shadow he's been in his whole life. Right? Cody is running the company that hired his brother, right? Finally, Cody's chance to outstep that shadow. Then they get a 2-set pack, which is supposed to be like a huge collector's item. Very cool. They have one of the best matches in the modern era. It comes out, and he's still the little brother.
Little brother. Very little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Meef, what's Meef showing off? You keep talking, Byron, but what are you showing off, Meef?
I wonder how tall Brandy's figure is compared to these.
You know, it's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about
my
control.
stitching hammer.
Made
out of very nice smelling wood.
Okay, so you're making all sorts of leather stuff, right? Are you going to eventually start making luchador masks, Meef?
No, he's got to make us the demolition suits first.
My edge beveler. That's another edge beveler. But look at the wood.
It sounds dirty when you say it.
These had to come from South Korea.
You got to hold it still.
And they smell amazing.
Just because
I like to bevel your edges, young lady.
If you want your edges. If you want to show something off, hold it still and like count in your head. 1,000.
Wait, what is that? Is that a sonic screwdriver?
That's a butthole scratcher.
Oh,
that is
I'll take 2 of those.
French skiver.
It does sound dirty when he says
it. So it's taking the leather out the back to make it thinner.
Ladies, I'd like to give you a French skiver. Are you game?
Is that it? What else are you showing?
super gross.
That's
That's
$300 worth of tools, though.
Let's talk a little bit of AEW. First thing I got to say is Eddie Kingston versus Pac this week is probably the first time I have actually cared about Pac in AEW.
You don't like Sting. Your opinions are shit. Pac is great. Pac is great.
No, I'm not saying he's not great. I'm just saying.
First of all, how dare you not care about a man that formed the Death Triangle?
Triangulo del Muerte, dude.
I was not happy when they formed the Death Triangle because I thought Penta and Phoenix were fine on their own. Terrible.
Triangulo.
But look,
that sounds like a fucking Georgia indie wrestler trying to be Naito.
Well, I am
Triangulo.
I am sort of from Georgia, and I am currently not signed to a major wrestling promotion, so I do fall into that.
Anyway, no, I really liked this, and it's not that I had any issue with Pac before. I didn't think that there was anything bad about him. I wasn't thrilled about Death Triangle on the initial run because I didn't think Rey and Penta needed it at all, and I didn't want to see them paired up with anybody. And in fact, at that time, even I wanted to see them do more single stuff. So I was a little irritated by that angle from the get-go. But now, with how they've been used over the last year, I think it's great. I have no issue with it at all. I'm very happy about it now, and I think it's actually going to lead to bigger and better things. And sometimes that's the way wrestling works. Sometimes that unfortunate break that someone has to take, on their return makes things better because sometimes they shove stuff down your throat too much in wrestling. And when you get that nice little breath of fresh air, you can really appreciate it. So now I'm appreciating Pac, but also one of the reasons I'm appreciating this, Eddie Kingston, still not doing anything special in the world of wrestling, but he's doing it absolutely right. He took great bumps. Even the parts of that match that were sloppy were still super duper fun. I was a big fan of it,
So I loved it. By the way, you're without saying anything less than Pac has been phenomenal in AEW, I think is blasphemy. When you take into account all of his promos, and being a WWE reject, that they didn't like those promos, and I don't think
they didn't fit in over there because he wasn't doing zany storyline stuff. He's doing what fits great in AEW, which is his promos are based on an athletic competition style of promo, and that's what they claim to be in AEW. So I think it works great, and
being a murderous Geordie bastard.
He's a bastard Pac, his comeback when he walked out, and it's just his whatever English gibberish that he's like.
I've seen him live when he came out.
Yeah,
and he literally just fuck off. Just something like straight.
Yeah.
He's like, someone's gone bastard, but some people were chanting him. It's like, I'm not your bastard. Fuck off. It's just like fantastic.
Yeah, he's good. So we agree.
Yeah, I was a fan of this. Also, at this point, I do want to mention Allie because I want to mention my friend Tony Lucchesio, who you may or may not have seen doing some of the deletion segments over in Impact or whatever. He was in a few of those. He's a wrestling manager and all around fun kind of carny heel guy that is a friend of mine. But he was giving me some info on a couple of wrestlers this week, and I totally forgot he's running Allie's Demon Bunny thing, the Her and Rosemary website. Yeah. So big shout out to everybody at demonbunny.com. Please go and pick up some merch. I'm going to talk to Tony and see if he can send us a couple of things too, but we love those guys, and Tony's out there doing good work. And if you were a fan of NWA Power, you have definitely seen Uncle Tony over there, Tony Lucchesio, and hopefully they're going to be back soon. I know he's super excited to hopefully get that up and running again. I know that, Nick Aldis and Billy and those guys are working on trying to make something happen, but they were getting really good. NWA Power was really going someplace.
Oh yeah.
And I feel bad that I slept on it. And then of course, Thunder Rosa yelled at me about that. So I started watching it, and I've met a bunch of people that have gone to the live shows, and they're like a different version of the Lucha Underground fan crowd. Like,
it's studio wrestling. It's great.
Yeah, they really supported their thing. They were really into it. The live crowd was making it for them, and you can feel that energy if you go back and watch some of those NWA Powers. And I believe they're all on YouTube. If you want to see Thunder Rosa's run and why she got to be where she is right now, definitely go back and watch NWA Power. You'll see Tony in there as well, doing his thing. But I think, he's doing some merch stuff for Ring of Honor right now, and he's doing the Demon Bunny stuff. So definitely check that out. Give my man some love over there and buy something. Support wrestling. Buy something. That's the only way to support these guys. We talked about it earlier with WWE.
Something I bought to support wrestling that I'm not sure if I regret it or not.
Oh boy.
I bought the Young Bucks book. And
how did you say that? You said as an English teacher that they write a certain way?
Not good. But
is that the word you used?
Yeah, the more I read the book, the less egregious some of it was. But there are some spelling and grammar issues that kind of frustrated me a little bit.
It starts with me and my brother, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does start with me and my brother did something, and I'm like, okay. And then it ends with pluralizing with apostrophes pretty close to the end, and you know how I feel about that. And but that aside, I've read a lot worse wrestling books. I was really interested in this book.
You've read my DMs.
Well, true. A couple reasons that I was really interested in this is, one, I find the formation of AEW like super, super fascinating to me, like how everything came together and how all of that happened. Unfortunately, that is really glossed over in the book. It's a short chunk at the end.
Oh,
there's barely any of it, but what's there is pretty interesting. I also was there for a lot of Young Bucks early history when they were coming up on the indies. I went to a lot of shows in like 2007 to 2009 when Nick was like 18 and just starting to kind of get booked on shows that weren't booking him when he was younger. And I was hoping to hear a little more about that. There's actually quite a bit though, which is fascinating. Like seeing them talk about shows I was at and promotions I was at was really cool, but I wanted more of that.
Right.
It just seems like this kind of breezes through things a little fast, but I mean, it's enjoyable. Like I didn't actively hate it. I just expected it to be a little more than it was. And that's kind of on me. So I'd give it about a 3 out of 5.
Is it really self-written? I mean, they really wrote the whole thing themselves.
It's pretty obviously self-written.
Do you think that it's like sort of like a Jericho thing where it's like a chapter 1 of the books they will write, which is why they glossed over
it could be
AEW.
Comparing it to Jericho's first book, which is like one of the best wrestling books ever written, is kind of a bad thing to do. I'd say it's better than like Dusty's book, and it's better than Terry Funk's book. That was kind of bad too. Like that glossed over things a lot. That was a really short book, but some of the stories in that book were like kind of amazing, and it's Terry Funk and all that. But like it's not as bad as the Rock's book or Arn Anderson's book or the ones that were written in kayfabe. Those were pretty terrible. Those two were. The Stone Cold book kind of sucked. I'd say Foley, Bret Hart, Jericho,
Regal's book was great.
Even talks about pissing on the stewardess.
I was telling Justin, was I telling you to read Regal's book?
You were.
Yeah. If you can get it, it's worth it. I think you can get the Kindle version of it too. That's how I read the Young Bucks book, is I got the Kindle version of it. Because I don't have a lot of like shelf space for books right now.
I'm totally with you. If it's available.
Well, speaking of the Kindle, we're now sponsored by Amazon.com.
Yeah, I wish.
I wish. Yeah. So yeah, like I like the Young Bucks. I know a lot of people shit on them. I think that if you read this book and saw their perspective on some of the stuff people shit on them for, you would like them more as people too. I've always liked them though. They seem like nice guys the whole time. They seem cool. They talk about the whole handshake thing with Booker T and how it like fucked with them for a while. They talk about the scary monkey that Dragon Gate had that ended up turning out that it was horribly abused, and that's why it was so scary. Oh
yeah, the Dragon Gate thing with the monkey. Yeah, a lot of names that we love now are implicated in that.
They also make Cody sound like he wasn't really all in on AEW, and that his role as being like one of the founders of the company isn't quite what we see it as now, and that's a little interesting.
I don't think it was, and from even what I've heard, it was more a personal connection that he developed with Tony Khan at the time that they were talking about it that really did it for him and got him into it. I don't think that he was as into it as those guys were. But I also don't. I think that was because he didn't. I think he thought that they were talking too much like a super indie, and that wasn't what Cody was interested in. Cody wanted to be in a WWE level thing, and if it wasn't going to be that, he was interested.
I think what I'm really interested in and what I really want to see is maybe like Tony's book.
Yes, you know? That's the real story, man. Follow the money.
Yeah. Is Tony doing a book?
No, but I mean,
Shivani?
No, I'm talking Tony Khan, and I think that's what I'd want to see, because I'm more fascinated in the formation of AEW and how that came together than I am in any single wrestler's side of the story, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they each have kind of a small
from business side.
It's interesting because Tony wanted to get in focus. Tony wanted to get a promotion going on his own, and hearing some of the stories from that perspective, like the Bucks and Cody and those guys, they weren't like a sure deal. Like he wanted to get a promotion and he wanted to get sort of a Jericho figure for it. Right. And it all seems now like it's a match made in heaven and it was a perfect fit, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't.
But it is a little bit of a Lucha Underground thing too, where it took a whole bunch of people with different ideas about what it should be to get it to be anything. And honestly, I feel like there's still one voice missing. I think they're missing that Krista Joseph type element, that lead writer type person. Really
so do you want fucking Jake Hager as champion? No, I think that person you want is me.
I'm not saying it should be Krista Joseph. I'm saying they need that type of figure.
JC, apply for the job.
There is no job. They don't want that guy there. That's the part of the problem. Every issue to me that AEW has been because of the fact that they clearly do not want that guy involved. But that being said,
I have 2 points to make about that specifically.
Let me just say this, and I'll let you go in. This week, to me, though, was a good example of what they should be doing without that guy, which is they somehow, for the first time in AEW history, in my opinion, they actually made every single match that was on TV relevant. No WWE product did that this week. No Lucha Libre.
WWE never does that.
Correct.
Lucha Libre, they treat the first matches like shit in Lucha always.
I would say NXT does that sometimes, and they tried to do that this week. But even if you look at NXT versus AEW this week alone, NXT tried really, really hard to make every match relevant. But the talent involved in those matches didn't inspire anyone to care about that relevancy that they were trying to tell us.
Hey, the Lucha Underground we're reviewing this week has that same problem.
Yes, sir, it does. But Byron, what were you going to say? I just wanted to make that point because it was relevant right there. But what
I wanted to say to that specific point, I opened up Cody and he is very loose.
Ew, he opened up Cody and he's very loose for you.
You know what I mean?
With his bloody face.
Might not be the first time that was said.
Well, hey, no, I'm talking about his figure, not Cody himself.
Oh, gotcha.
So he's like very da-da-da-da-da-da, and then, torso wobble.
I love how good the blood stains are in the hair, though, dude. That is fucking great.
It is pretty dope. And then Dustin, he's super solid. This is super good. Nothing's wrong with him.
So Cody's smaller and also less well made.
I'm the big brother.
Love Cody.
Quickly, I'm not going to go through every single thing on AEW this week, but I just want to illustrate, why some of these matches mattered. Obviously, Kingston versus Pac mattered, and there's a lot of implications in that. And it also, Kingston's coming off of his little title run, so he's got relevancy.
And it's in the middle of their feud too. And Lance Archer is showing up. I don't know what he's doing, but he's
but I mean, look, they're making it feel like something. Chucky T getting upgraded to Miro's young boy with the absence of Trent. Like, look, it's a totally minor storyline, but
this is going to be the storyline that gets Chuck Taylor over more than he already is. And
completely
keep in mind, Chuck Taylor, one of the top merchandise sellers of AEW, because of the best friends.
Also, they switched the verbiage from young boy to butler.
Yeah, they did.
It's okay. I know what it is. I know he's carrying bags. It's fine.
Miro's gonna be like, we're making some extra cash. You have to hold the camera.
Look, it's a great program for Chucky. It's a good spot for him to be in. And Miro, I think, is going to make it hilarious. I think Miro's subtle approach to comedy and his deadpan version of comedy is going to make.
And plus, Chuck Taylor is a comedy god, so this is going to be tremendous.
I think so.
What did you think of Miro's work in the ring?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good match. I
think this was his first match that didn't have some major fuck up or injury in it.
Correct.
So,
I think it was just a solid, straightforward Miro performance. I thought they worked well together, and it made sense. And I see it going places. Private Party calling Matt Hardy a brand, the Matt Hardy brand now, which is an ingenious new way for him to go as well. A money grabbing Carney. Best line.
Their segment on being the elite was pretty great this week too. I gotta say,
he's going back to his sort of big money Matt sort of persona,
which is great because he's moving into a phase of his career where he should not be out there doing what he did with Sammy Guevara every week.
Right. But also in that one segment, how much personality did you see out of Private Party?
The most ever.
Period? Yeah, but I think that the more personality we see from them, the more grating we find out their personalities actually are, which is unfortunate.
Well, they'll work. They could work on it. But before
I feel like the Acclaimed is going to take their spot completely, and
they already have in my mind in a lot of ways. But that's also why I think this Matt Hardy thing is genius. I think he needs it. I think they need it, and I think that he's going to bring out the best of whatever they have to offer. You might be right. We'll see if that's worth anything or any good, but I certainly don't think that there was anything else they could be doing with these guys right now. And with Byron's buddy over there on NXT, who had basically the same gimmick for a while, who's on our Wall of Fame. What's his name?
Cross.
No, the manager guy who was with Chelsea for a while. Why can't I think his name?
Robert Stone.
Yeah, Robert Stone brand. With that kind of being out of commission, I think Matt Hardy will do a better version anyway. But you saw it was working well even for shitty NXT stuff. So
yeah.
Why not see what Matt Hardy can do with something like that?
It's a crime they took them off TV, but that's a different.
Okay, the best line of the show, though, even though the money grabbing Carney line was great, was clearly there was two that were great in the Inner Circle promo. Again, genius. We talked last week about.
I have a complaint about Jake Hagar. They need to stop me. Okay,
there's a lot.
Go ahead. They need to stop. Go ahead.
2-7. Jake Hagar should be like his Lucha Underground character. He should just be. I know he's a fun, lovable goofball type, and we've met him. He's a nice guy. We didn't get in a deep conversation with him.
I did.
But
I talked to him for 45 minutes.
Yeah. About global warming,
all sorts of stuff, and that's why, and maybe that's why I completely disagree. This is absolutely, to me, the Jake Hagar character that he should be, because I don't think he can inhabit the giant heater guy role because it's not him.
No, and Wardlow is that guy.
Correct, and Wardlow is a better version of that to me. I think Hagar absolutely should be the big dumb. Goofy guy who, if you push his buttons too far, will snap on you and break your neck. I think that is a perfect role for him. I loved him doing what my man said, Flavor Flav-esque thing in this segment.
Championships.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to take people a minute to grow into it because they haven't seen that side of Hagar, but it's who he really is. He's the nicest guy in the world. They lock him in a cage and he has to fist fight somebody because he is a legit MMA guy.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to go full bore with this Flavor Flav gimmick. Where's this clock? Come on.
Oh, that would be the best.
So, by the way,
with a big clock, I would love it.
Grandfather clock.
Let's get back to what you're going to say about it. And I do think that pronouncing his name Hagar instead of Hager is the way to go.
Yeah, because he's teaming with Sammy, so he could be Sammy Hagar, bro.
Correct, which is why
Junior.
It's hilarious. It was hilarious. That was the best thing. I didn't see the joke coming. How did I not see the joke coming? Calling their team together, Sammy Hagar, is amazing.
Jericho popped.
Yeah, and also the Sammy getting in the tag team slut line was also amazing.
I mean, really, it's Billy Gunn, but come on.
Correct.
Yeah. And one thing I also really appreciate is that because I saw some discussions about, because of the Jericho's podcast stuff and blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the return? When does the return of investment on Jericho become too small? Blah, blah, blah. Like some people, whatever, are thinking like, why do they still need him? I think though, what they're sort of referring to is that Jericho showed up. They needed the big former star, the big star, to anchor the program. And so he portrayed himself as a star, carried himself as a star, and did that for a minute. And then now they're doing stuff that's supposed to get the rest of the inner circle over. So he's not coming out featuring himself. He's not getting himself over. He's also not looking as sharp as he did during that first run.
Come on, dude. Everyone that's disagreeing about the usage of Jericho isn't separating his politics from...
Right. Yeah, but it's also like he's not doing that, main event A-list character now. Now he's doing stuff that gets everyone else in the inner circle over. He's not going to show up and look better than Sammy.
Doesn't matter to me because Chris Jericho is hands down the best writer at AEW.
Yeah,
and they need him. And I don't see his usefulness leaving that establishment anytime before they have a full writer's room.
Yeah, no, and that's my point, is that he's purposefully not taking the spotlight off of the people around him.
And this angle is great too. I mean, this whole thing that they're doing right now is basically Chris Jericho saying, look, we had the limelight for a while. We still want our TV time, but we'll get out of everyone else's way for a little while. We've got some fun stuff we can do. Check this out. And this whole thing with deciding who is going to be the tag team from the inner circle, building it for a week, putting it on TV next week after the Jake Hager thing with Wardlow. This is good stuff, and this is a great way to get out of the way and still be entertaining.
I'm excited for the match.
I hope this leads to Proud and Powerful leaving the inner circle because they need to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
they're wasting away there. It used to be that they were the best part of the segments, and now it's like there's even more guys, and they have less time to get their shit in.
Right. So I thought when Sammy began to speak up, I thought the three of them were going to break off. I want Conan to come in and manage the three of them. I think
maybe, but that's my other thing is if you break them off of there, are they really going to get time with like the Lucha Bros out there and Jurassic Express?
Yeah, because everyone wants to wrestle them. They're a great tag team. I think they'll get plenty of time.
Maybe.
I think they'll be okay.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know if I feel like they need to leave yet, but we'll see. The Elite Omega with the Good Brothers swerve at the beginning of that. That was a good swerve. I thought that was funny. I saw it coming, but I still was entertained by not.
I feel like it's not believable though, because everyone knows he's better friends with the Young Bucks.
But there's a bit of a Don influence that's being thrown into there, so that makes it even more interesting.
I mean, look, it's just the obvious cross promotion. That's all it was done for, but it was well done. It was fun. It was funny. Now, I do take issue with anybody who refers to this as a Bullet Club segment. This is not. This is an Elite segment or something else. But let's not mix this up with Bullet Club just because this whole thing came out of Japanese storylines. Whatever. Let's not.
Oh, you don't
calling it Bullet Club anything though is offensive to me. I don't mind referring to the Elite thing, but it's not Bullet Club.
You don't like Tamatonga's promo about how they're not Bullet Club and they need to stop.
I agree with that.
Pretending.
I agree with that, but I don't. No, okay. He doesn't want them to do it at all. That's a different than my take. I just don't want them to refer to it as a Bullet Club thing.
Yeah, it's the Good Brothers from Impact. I do love that they have the belts.
I do too, and that was what made that whole little intro swerve worth it.
You know what I love is that they're doing the two sweets fucking everywhere now, but they were afraid to put them on the Good Brothers action figures.
Yeah, that's
so awesome. They only do the one suite.
But their action figures were independent, weren't they?
Yeah, but Super 7 was afraid to do the two suite.
Super 7's afraid to send me my New Japan dolls.
Yeah,
dude. Okay, so the New Japan figures. There's an update on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast that the test shots have been made, so the molds are made and shit. So
I saw the unpainted molds.
Yeah, see, so if they have those, you're good. I like how they're giving more updates on the Good Brothers and the Major Brothers figures and the King Diamond that I ordered that was announced way before both of those.
That's not okay. I'm not okay with that.
Everyone write a letter.
I'm going to write one today.
Strongly worded.
Anyway, stop cutting Justin off.
The thing I wanted to say about this particular match, though, with the Varsity Blondes is Danny Limelight. Holy crap. Yes. And Danny Limelight on Dark, also holy crap. Like, Danny Limelight has arrived. I can't say anything else about that. Like, the Good Brothers did exactly what I expected. Omega did exactly what I expected. Danny Limelight did about 30 times more than I expected and was really, really good. I'm a fan, and I want to see...
Is he so calm?
Yes. Yeah.
Because everybody I know is a friend of his.
He might be he might be like one of the top Southern California wrestlers of the past year, I think.
I mean, and here's the thing. I've seen him a few times, but, nothing that I would have said was, something to write home about. I never had any issues with him or whatever. But this is like, holy crap. I remember seeing that guy when he was nothing. And now this is something. Like, he's got something. I don't know if AEW has the first clue what to do with him, but they did something with him this week. So more power to him. And he did not disappoint in any fashion. So kudos to Danny.
I thought his name sucked then, and I think it sucks now.
I don't disagree. And of course, this big schmoz at the end of this match, for a change, was all relevant. All of the run into this match, and I won't get into all of it, but every super kick and the Lucha Bros and everyone coming out, like, it all made perfect sense. It all furthers the storyline. It all makes you say, I don't know where this is going to go, what they're planning to do with it. It all works. And this is part of why months and months and months ago, we kept saying, you've got to put the belt on Kenny Omega. He's the only guy in that promotion that you could put this much kerfluffle around and have it all actually make sense.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
He has history with who? He has history, Bucks, Good Brothers, Lucha Brothers. He has big matches with both those guys.
Yeah. All this. It all makes sense. Like, the whole thing being intertwined makes sense. Mox, of course, was in
Mox.
Another big surprise this week was them pushing Britt Baker's talk show thing from Dark to Dynamite, which I think was
in the worst segment ever. It's showing that they should push it right the fuck back.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's great.
Come on, she made fun of Cody's neck tat in the best possible way. That moment alone sold that whole segment for me.
I do that every week, and you guys never praise me for it.
Oh my God! Yes, I do.
What they did do was put Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill but on a live show that was taped, which I think is a great thing. I think she should not be on a live mic. She's working on her promo, which is cool. She has the presence. When she walks in a room, everyone notices her. She has that type of presence. But also, I could tell Cody with his eyes the entire promo when she was cutting on him. He was yelling, "Put the mic by your mouth when you're talking."
Well, the funniest thing about that entire segment was Cody was not on the mic at all. He said literally 2 words. That was classic to me. Like, you bring out one of the biggest stars from your company, you put him in a talk show segment, and then doesn't talk at all. Britt totally got over, in my opinion. The Thunder Rosa ending. Mel's promo wasn't the greatest, but I think it was completely appropriate for what it was, and she cut it at home herself or on the road or something. But it totally worked. I like that their match is going to be on pay-per-view. I really, really hope that Britt and Mel work together well. I hope they get some time to do a couple of turns together before they go on live pay-per-view. But
yeah,
we'll see. Because there's potential there for both of them. I think that Mel could bring out the best in Thunder Rosa, and I hope it's not the other way around. I hope that Britt doesn't bring out the worst in Thunder Rosa.
Can I also ask you your opinion, specifically Justin, about the pretty much a coming out party for Red Velvet in this segment? Now, she isn't just sort of a blue chipper or prospect that's kind of working her way up. She's on the main show, getting a program and stepping in to Brandy's program.
Yeah, she was anointed by Brandy to take her place. It's TBD. It's honestly TBD. Yeah. I've seen some great Red Velvet stuff on the indies. I've seen some not so great stuff. Yeah. I've seen her do decent work on Dark, but there hasn't been a ton of it yet. So it's really TBD. I'm a big fan. I think she has what it takes, but I would put her into the Evil East category realistically right now, where she has the goods. She could get it done. It's completely up to her where she takes it from here. She's going to have to push through the pain. She's going to have to work from beneath as a smaller person, especially with Jade. Come on. And she's going to have to feed Jade and protect Jade. A bigger girl who is much greener.
Yeah, a lot greener. And I do have to point out that when Justin says TBD, he means total boners, dog.
Yeah, that's literally what he texted all of us. Not even in a group text, individually. Guys, my pants are so tight right now.
Individually, to make sure we each knew. It was really disturbing. Yeah.
I didn't even bring her up when we were talking about this segment. Byron brought her up.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool.
Because we remember the DM.
No, I mean, but also like, I think Red Velvet personally is too green to carry someone who hasn't been training for even a full year. I think in a big program like this, I just think that. But also, like, she also has that element though. Like, she stands out in a room, and I think she's
star quality, and she's getting a chance because somebody else's chance was taken away for a good reason because Brandy's pregnant. But at the same time,
she should still wrestle.
This is part of the way wrestling works.
That's what Paul Anderson would have done.
There's nobody else available that would work well with Jade at this point. Literally, she's getting it because she's the only option. So now it's up to her.
Yeah.
If she wants to be a wrestling superstar, she needs to understand this is her shot, maybe her only one. She has to take this green, big, giant person and make something exciting out of this.
They lost the biggest opportunity to make Jade the female Snitsky by having her wrestle a pregnant Brandy. Fuck.
She kind of cuts promos worse than him though.
It wasn't, all you got to do is yell, "It wasn't my fault," and then kick a baby into the audience. It's not that hard.
I don't have much to say about Jurassic Express versus FTR. It was a match. I thought Marco Stunt was a little sloppier than normal, which is funny because this was his big storyline angle, but it was still good.
But it was really good. I thought that I thought it was one of my favorite matches of.
He plays a good face in Barrel, though.
Yeah,
trying to be Ricky Morton, and he's not Ricky Morton. But who the fuck is Ricky Morton?
The whole thing worked. I am a little more interested in seeing what Luchasaurus does in the FTR matchup.
Try to keep up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Shitty slow motion spin kicks. That's my guess.
I like Battleston now, and I think that FTR will get him to step it back up a notch. That's why I'm interested.
I mean, he definitely benefits greatly in the bigger tag matches where he gets to have his sort of house on fire.
Well, and I think with guys who will actually come and hit him a little harder and a little stiffer and not take his BS, I think he got a little too used to some of this light work indie stuff where the smaller guys won't go hard at him. And I think that FTR is not going to play that. I think that they're going to actually, come in, be a little crisper. And I think hopefully that'll elevate his game. If he misses one of those monkey flips on one of those guys, they're going to give him a receipt.
Yeah, he's going to stomp him.
Yeah.
They're going to stomp him for real. Which is awesome because that's how
they
wrestling
punished that guy who attacked Bret Hart. So
and I think Austin needs a little bit of that. And once he gets that, he'll get fired up. And I think he's got all the ability to do that. But at the same time, he's also been a WWE guy, which comes along with the attitude of why do work that is not required of you to do.
And I have to interrupt this segment for a public service announcement. Not by Wrestling Empire for the Switch. It just put me in a match against Terry Funk for a number one contender spot.
Show us
a number one contender spot
for the Cruiserweight Championship.
For the women's
that was
title.
Worth it.
For the women's title. So Ozka is the special ref here. And me and Terry Funk, I'm Kato from the Orient Express, and I'm fighting Terry Funk. Okay. For a shot at the women's title. And yes, I know that doesn't look like Kato from the Orient Express. I decided to change his look up a little bit, make him look more like the Great Kabuki. Thank you very much.
Terrible.
That's fair.
That
was cool.
You may have noticed that our count out counts were different counts for
wrestler.
How the fuck do you not know how a count out works when you've been making wrestling games for 15 years? Jesus
Sexy
Christ.
Star?
Before Casey throws his switch through the wall, let me get through the last two things. The AEW Ty Conte versus Serena Deeb was exactly what it was supposed to be.
How the finish?
Garbage?
How good was the finish?
No, the finish was good, but the rest of the match,
I thought it was fine. I didn't mind it at all. I think Ty's still a work in progress, but it's a work that is being done the right way. I think Serena Deeb was exactly who she's supposed to be wrestling now.
I don't like all these works in progress being on my TV though. How about you give me someone who's fucking ready?
They don't have any.
They don't have it. They're stuck in Japan. They can't fly over to work.
They don't have any, and this is the best you're going to get from that right now.
I didn't get to bitch last week about Abaddon fucking losing, and I could have
spent some time. Okay.
I don't know if you heard it, but I went off on that.
I don't listen to the show.
They burned through the Abaddon thing way too soon. Yeah. The match was BS. It was just totally off. It was totally a waste of Abaddon. I thought that was the stupidest thing that they've done in ages. But they didn't do that this week, and I thought this match was actually appropriate with the correct ending and a good finish. That's all I'm going to say about it. Let's move on.
I want to bring up that Ted Conti is watching and studying a lot of Japan wrestling and New Japan. Like one of her first things she tweeted when she signed or started working at AEW was send me some New Japan recommendations. And like, I'm sure I and everyone else sent her Mr. Lariato's list.
I don't disagree, but I also think that's part of Ty's problem is that she has an MMA background and she has some kickboxing and she does some Japanese stuff. Like she needs to focus on American style wrestling now. That's what she needs to focus on for the next.
We should have just given her all Ishii matches and had her wrestle like a big-headed fucking caveman. It would have been amazing.
Check this out. Do you know how Suzuki has the armbar on the ropes?
Yes.
She does a leg bar, the same type of hang on the ropes with a leg bar based on his matches. Which I think that's cool, and I think that she was doing great.
But I think that there's no way for her to hone it right now.
I also think that a leg bar on the ropes makes less sense leverage-wise, while the arm bar would actually work.
She needs to learn how to run the ropes and not lose a step. She needs to learn how to take a clothesline the right way. She needs to learn. She needs to learn and perfect some of the basics, and then add in slowly some of those other things. Too many of these new performers try to go out there and do the biggest, newest, coolest, flashiest move first, before they get the basics down. Like learn your in-ring storytelling, learn your basic moves,
learn your footwork,
your footwork especially, and especially if you're a shorter performer. I don't care if that's because you're Marco or because you're a woman or whatever. If you have a shorter gait than the bigger people that you're wrestling against, you need to figure out how to fix it. You need to fix timing first.
There's a thing
that's where she's at.
And it's hard when you're tall too, because you got to be exactly the right length.
Yeah, like you see her when she does a corner spot, she runs, and then when she gets to the corner, you do the stutter step, so you're making the correct step.
Because everyone's supposed to do it in 3 steps, no matter how tall you are.
Yeah, but watch Dustin Rhodes. He actually does a stutter step at the beginning because he's too tall.
Right.
But here's the thing with like Dustin Rhodes and like in wrestlers who've been doing it a while, you're supposed to know how many steps it takes you to get across the ring.
Correct. You know, these kids aren't focusing on that. They just get across the ring, and then the move doesn't look right and doesn't hit fast. There was a lot of that in Lucha Underground too. I saw that on this episode that we're going to talk about today, which I want to get to. So Darby versus Cage,
phenomenal.
It was super great. I have no idea who won because I turned it off when Stink came out.
Well, let me tell you something there, Justin. It doesn't matter who won because I'm scared. You see, there's nothing that I'm afraid of more than a man in face paint pointing a bat at me.
For 5 weeks
in a row. Pointed at you, Justin. You should, because your opinions on Sting is shit, first of all.
Okay. Townsend's from New York, and like, you know, we've all seen the Warriors. So he's come across some baseball furies in his time.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me tell you
some PTSD shit.
Let me tell you something, Meef Loaf. In the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York, we had all kinds of guys with bats. We had all kinds of guys with paint. And let me tell you something. Every once in a while, you'd confuse one of the guys with paint with one of the girls with paint, and you'd have all kinds of adventures. And sometimes it wasn't a bat. Let me put it that way. But it was hard and long like one. But it was just another victim to the human suplex machine. Byron, beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
I love it. Thank you for showing up today, Taz. We appreciate that. Look, here's my thing. I figured out a way that Sting could actually matter. Even the Sting fans at this point are complaining about the fact that him just coming out with a baseball bat every week is getting old.
It's all I need in life. It's all I need in life.
No, it's great. And they ramped it up
every time.
He nearly murdered.
AEW message boards, all these AEW marks I've seen.
Well, we don't care about AEW fans.
None of them are on this podcast. I can speak for myself, and I can speak for Byron. That every time Sting comes in the ring and he points that bat, our bats are pointing right back at him from our pants.
I'll agree 1,000%.
Yes. Also, Sting upgraded his game and beat the fuck out of my man Ricky, the Stroke Man Starks.
You know why we call him the Stroke Man, Byron?
Yes. He's a good golfer.
He torches his genitals every night so he gets that glow for television.
Let me ask you.
His girlfriend works for that other company and dresses like Sally Jesse Raphael.
Let me ask you this. If Sting was going to have...
No, that's his old partner. That's Solo.
If Sting was going to have super duper relevance in AEW. You know, we were talking the other week about one of the things that AEW is missing. They need that Hogan turn moment from WCW.
Ew, no.
Why can't it be Sting? Why can't it be Sting?
I'm going to throw this idea right in the trash.
He would have so much more relevance if out of the blue. See, you're already pissed about it. No,
because you know what, Justin? The second
it's a good
deal, that makes my relevance go out the window. And let me tell you, there's nothing going out the window unless I'm picking them up in a Tazplex and I'm throwing them out the window.
That's true.
We've seen this thing.
Just another victim.
This is some other promotion's gimmick with some other promotion's guy. If they can't do something to make this an AEW gimmick, it's got no life. It's got no legs.
It's built on other people's gimmicks and other people's guys. What the fuck am I doing here?
So I enjoyed the little bit of big timing that Sting gave to Cody, and I would definitely enjoy Sting and Darby going one-on-one and putting Darby over. I would enjoy that. I think as a big, they could do a cinematic match.
It's a 3-year contract he's got. Tell me how you're going to get 900 days out of this garbage.
He's going to do, first of all, it's phenomenal.
Do you remember 96 to 97? He literally just came out with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
we got 700
at least 500 days.
It wasn't good.
Yeah. So it was great.
It wasn't
the reason we love wrestling.
Professional wrestling, Justin.
Yeah.
For 52 weeks.
So they could do, by the way, I have a big announcement to make right now, but they could do cinematic matches. That's something that he was wanting to do and sign for as well. And then who knows, maybe they'll sign Taker away in 15 years.
You know something, Byron? I got a big announcement to make now.
Let me make my announcement.
Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
That's a good announcement. I'm starting a GoFundMe. Go to after we're done recording, go to the MMMShow 75 Twitter account for the link to the GoFundMe. I'm gonna
to buy Justin some taste and professional.
No. What it's for is I need people to donate their hard-earned money. Those who are even fortunate enough to have a job right now, or send me your unemployment checks. That's also cool. And when I have enough, I'm gonna buy a plane ticket to Cleveland, and then in tribute to Sting, I am going to wrestle Justin in the snow in his front yard in Sting's honor.
You'll lose.
Well, we'll see.
What are you gonna do? Flash me? Ooh.
Scorpion Justin, Death Drop, bro.
You're gonna find out why we call Byron Snowball, and you're not gonna like it.
So Byron, as a white man, is gonna jump on a plane to go and beat up Justin. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. That's what I heard.
No ref, because if there's no ref, bro, there's a reason why there's an outlaw in my name. I'm not gonna exactly play fair. You realize that, right?
The world will be watching.
Okay.
I think that's trademarked by the World Wrestling Federation.
Whatever. You guys are still talking about Sting. You guys can go to break whenever you want. If you want to keep talking yourself.
Dude.
Be my guest.
Byron. Remember the Black Scorpion?
Yeah.
Sting.
Do you remember that time he stood there with a vulture?
Yeah.
That was pretty badass.
Do you remember the time when Vader was a really bad guy and he was ruling everything and everyone thought all hope was lost? But then Sting was like, I got you guys. And then he beat Vader.
Remember the time that Vader lost to Kane and then he said, I'm nothing. I'm just a big fat piece of shit.
That was well after Sting beat him. Wait, we lost Justin.
Oh.
That's fine.
Cool. Welcome
we
to
can talk about Sting's drop kicks now.
Welcome to the Stinger Show.
Welcome to the very special Sting tribute episode of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, big Sting fan number one, Pastor Casey. Then we have Sting fan number two. We got Meef, and then we got Byron, who is Sting fan number three. And the only reason that you're behind Meef is because Meef has been on record to say Sting was his favorite wrestler.
Yeah. And then I think as our first order of business in the new Sting podcast is we should go to break.
Yeah.
Damn great. I hope it's that commercial with Sting beating up the kid.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
3,
2.
You don't count the 2 and the 1.
Wait, so but are you done with Sting?
Wayne's World.
Are you done with Sting now? Can I?
Yeah, we're done with Sting. I got one thing to say to you.
I got one thing to say to you, Justin.
Yeah, I got two things. First of all, my opinion on Sting is fucking garbage. That's one thing to say. Second thing to say is yo soy Mexico, Justin. Yo soy.
I agree with that 100%. Okay. So we're talking now. It's time for our Lucha Underground Rewind.
This episode sucked, but also this episode was the one that the LA Times or Daily News, one of the two big LA papers, decided to come and do a whole story and photo shoot on, and they gave him this to work with, which is why the whole story and photo shoot is on Drago.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is good. But here's the other thing about this thing. The crowd, this is the crowd. This is it right here. You have the PWG fans in there. You have some of the Lucha Underground original. And I'm not saying that there weren't some great crowd moments before now, but there was nothing that happened in the ring that deserved what this crowd gave them.
Hey, and I got to say, this handsome face made an appearance during Drago's entrance.
Several times. Casey pops up several times. Byron is there. J. Ray and his brother are there. I don't think I was at this one.
I don't think I was there either.
I don't think Meef was there either. But a large portion of the contingent was there. You know, you got Little John and Mil Machetes on one side.
Yeah,
you got Victor. You know,
you got Big Dick Vic and you got Medium Dick Vic. I'm not going to say which one.
You know what I loved? How One Eye Rick was working the fans a little bit in his match.
Yeah, and he was working the fans on the side of the eye patch.
And the whole time, Vamp was like calling him out for all of that.
Which was hilarious. But anyway, like this crowd, and this was part of the magic of Lucha Underground that I think people get lost with sometimes, because the crowd really was a character. I would say the crowd and Drago were the two best wrestlers on this show for a few reasons. And we'll get into it. We're going to just lightly talk about some of the matches here, but there's some fun stuff that happened along the way, regardless of the fact that what was going on in the ring was clearly just filler to get them to Ultima Lucha at this point. They were way more focused on the first Ultima Lucha and figuring that out. And this is kind of filler television.
I don't know.
Hence why Chavo gets to dominate it. But
I wasn't more angry about Tejano's treatment at the time than I am now.
Correct. I could feel that too. So anyway, let's start off with this first vignette. Chavo has vanquished Blue Demon Jr. twice. This
is the Chavo show, by the way.
This is, but that's also part of why it was filler, because a lot of times, and this happened a few times throughout Lucha Underground, is when they didn't have a lot of big stuff going on, Chavo, as a producer, would basically, interject himself. And as I've said a million times on the show, if you're not trying to get yourself over, you shouldn't be in wrestling. And Chavo is not a stranger to getting himself over. So anytime that there was a void, Chavo would bring his own storyline back into the show. Basically we're paying off a little bit of this. He's sitting there with Dario. He's got one final request since he's done the Lotus thing and this, that, and the other thing. He wants a no DQ title shot And if Conan gets involved, Chavo wins automatically.
And that was actually like 3 requests. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I don't disagree. So then we lead into a really, really great feud that's been going on here in Lucha Underground from the former AAA mega champion Tejano and the ever exciting, ever present, awesome, top-notch veteran wrestler Daivari.
Piss boy.
Okay, so
Golden Shower Chance.
Golden Shower Chance, number 1. 2, Daivari got mad and threw his drink into the audience. And so he threw fucking ice cubes like bullets at the crowd and it hit some people really hard with very new ice cubes.
Yeah.
Not cool. Not cool at all.
But this is also part of the reason why that audience got hot early and stayed hot through the whole show. So kudos to Daivari for actually getting the crowd fired up.
We were concussed by Daivari. Yeah.
Also Vampiro, I think he was shooting. I think his knees were bothering him. This is one of those shows where he was limping around all the time because he was shooting on everyone. Daivari comes out and he's just like, there's nothing about this guy that I like.
Yeah.
Which I think is everybody's reaction.
I said me too to the screen, but I know he's actually like in real life, he's like the coolest person in the world.
But look, the best thing about this match to me was, Stryker trying to expose reffing business for how much they miss things that happen behind their backs. It was the weirdest way to break a kayfabe I think I've ever heard on commentary. Like, what is the point of what you're doing here, Stryker? But whatever. It was entertaining at least, but it was so bizarre. Tejano wins with a sit-out powerbomb. Tejano, still enjoy him regardless. He's just a fun, solid wrestler. The expletives from Tejano, exquisite.
Yeah,
like franchise
on the mic. Could have done some when he had the mic later. I'm just saying.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Also, Big Rick, the reason he was working the crowd so much is he got a little confused by by me and J Ray and his brother yelling Tiger Knee and Tiger Uppercut at him. And I don't think he knew what we meant, and he was trying to like figure it out. So he was like egging us on to do it more. It was weird.
Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Anyway,
he might have never played Street Fighter. I mean, come on.
Tiger! No, that doesn't make sense.
No child of our age and his age could not have played Street Fighter.
Dude, he comes from the Caribbean. They might not have had it when he grew up.
That's true.
Okay, that's a good point.
Okay. So we go into
research this.
A double vignette here. Vignette 2A. Conan Puma, little Puma workout. Because
how fucking high was Conan? Jesus Christ!
All the way high.
All the way.
Is this the point where he's like, I'm off?
There was no Iranian tobacco involved in this. That was Conan turning into Iran. That was the full-on real deal. But I mean, Conan himself has said it on this show that, this was by the point in this time, he was just out of it. He was furious with Lucha Underground for so many reasons. He was way stressed out. He was getting high all the time. I've heard Evie Dub talk about, Conan, and keep in mind, weed was still not legal in the state of California at this point in time. And Conan was straight high the whole time because he had issues all around in life in general. And he was also in constant pain back then too. This was before his surgery.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
So
you also have to hand it to him. He said he was miserable, and he knew he was miserable with those working conditions, and he was being miserable back to everybody else. So good on him for trying to improve his disposition.
Right. Well, it didn't entirely work here because he looked grumpy and high. So
for trying. Keyword trying.
But the good thing is Puma's in a segment and everyone else talks. So, and basically the setup here is Katrina showing up, teleporting in and basically saying, survive if I let you. She does her Taz thing or whatever of if you get through this match, you still got me. And
let me tell you something, Justin.
Taz uses more time.
I used to talk to Paulie about letting me lick my opponents, and you know what he said?
Amazing.
Bro, excuse me, Justin. I can interject myself and tell you exactly what I said when Taz said he should lick his opponents. Fuck you, you're wrong.
Thanks, Paulie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Anyway, and then Conan gives a little, it's all a mind game thing.
Dude, a person literally fucking teleports in front of you for the first time in your life. Oh, don't worry, dog. It's just a mind game. What the fuck?
That's how you know. That's
It's
how you know
wrestling,
how
you know,
stoned he. That's how you know how high he is.
Well, yeah, because clearly
all
it
this
didn't face
wacky shit's
Conan.
happening, and he's just like, "Wow, okay, so like, don't worry about that." It's
Yeah,
cool.
Conan's thinking, I just saw them turn the camera off and her walk out of the room. It's just a mind game. It's all good.
Well,
Totally
also,
ruining the kayfabe.
if he's so high, who isn't appearing and disappearing?
Correct.
In front of him.
Correct. But so he's got good, solid advice for Puma then. Like, just let that roll off your back and don't say anything, even though there's mics and cameras here. So then after the commercial break, we get another Conan. He's obviously recruiting somebody. We've been boys a long time, so let me keep this 100, he says.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
Have you listened to my podcast?
Yeah. Oh, wait, will you follow me if I follow you? Just a question. So anyway, Conan gives him the it's about time Mexico delivered on its promise to Chavito, blah blah blah. It's clearly somebody who is taller than K-Dog. That's all we need to know. K-Dog, the master of the verbal gyms, not looking
the guy called the Texan
Stone. So, and we learn later, yes, that it is Tejano. Anyway, Drago versus Hernandez. You get a lot of camera time in this one, Casey. Also,
yeah. You know why? Because they were foreshadowing me being part of the Believers Backlash match, which was the whole point of this match.
I don't disagree. And also, there was a lot of baby nuts chanting.
Mm-hmm. That was us.
Conan gets
a lot of
baby
people.
nuts. He chants baby nuts at everyone.
Yeah. I liked it. The crowd was hot.
It's one of my favorite wrestling insults, really.
It's
like,
pretty
I
good.
love Hernandez, but anyone being called baby nuts is hilarious to me.
He called the crew baby nuts.
Like, even if you call me baby nuts, I would probably start laughing pretty hard.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Look, I love the Drago paint thing coming down on the neck here. Is one of the first times I saw that, where he extends
He did a black mask as well, did he?
The scale.
He's Dark Drago right now.
And he had the wings like perfectly, the most photogenic entrance ever, because the newspaper was there to take photos of it.
And it worked because that was the shot in the newspaper. So
yeah.
I thought, the thing I'll say about this match, like, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. Clearly, you can see Drago do better stuff, but Hernandez kept up with him great. And I think it gets lost on people. Like, look, Hernandez isn't the hugest guy in the world, but he is a big, beefy dude.
He's fucking big, bro.
And
he's like a wardrobe.
He was not gassed at all. He was on point the whole time. He kept up with Drago, who is a much faster, more in shape guy than half the locker room. And I was very impressed. Like, this was another good Hernandez performance. In my mind, I felt like these performances from Hernandez were going to be worse. But that was thinking, the end of his last Impact run before this, or TNA is what it was at the time. He was really off a step and didn't seem like he wanted to be there, and there was lots of issues. But this stuff...
He murdered people, Justin. He literally injured half the roster.
Yeah, I mean, going back and looking at this stuff is like, it's a different world. Anyway, so is this guy a plant that Hernandez takes the belt off of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I had never seen him before, never seen him again since, so I didn't know if he was one of Hernandez's friends or if they brought him in.
No, dude, none of us were plants. We were all real fans.
But this kid that gets the belt taken off.
Oh, no.
None of us know him, right? Nobody knows. Does anybody know this guy?
No, dude,
he was a plant.
That was Phil, bro. Phil McCrevis.
John Smith.
Love it. Anyway, that was a good segment, though. I like the way he pulled the belt off, whipped the crap out of and the beating was not pulled very much at all. It wasn't like
it's all right. It's all right, because you know what? Drago didn't get hit in the dick one time with those belts. Just saying. We'll talk about that later.
This might be the first time I've heard the full crowd go for the Culero chant. Also,
yeah.
I don't know.
It was awesome because they needed the crowd to be pissed at him to sell the Believers Backlash thing later.
It worked.
He talked a lot more shit on the crowd than what they showed. He stayed there for a while and was fucking with people.
Yeah, there was a few weird edits. Another one that I'll get to shortly. But anyway, I love the promo afterwards too. You dumbass fans don't realize that Drago's not a real dragon. He's just a man, and I just whipped his ass. And if you got a problem with that, come in here and I'll whip your ass too. Like the whole thing was.
And he made the coolest fucking face for them to fade out on. He's like, ugh, I loved it. I loved it.
But it's also like, come on, Hernandez, he is a dragon. Don't take away Christmas from me.
This is also a perfect example of how you keep a character's heat. He lost the match. And you wouldn't even know that or care because of how genius it was, everything else they did. This is a great way to keep heat.
He called me white boy in a derogatory manner, though. I wasn't too happy with that.
Redo?
Oh, I approve of that.
Totally. He said, what you got, white boy?
Oh. I miss being
whatever. He's a Texan. Is he even allowed to do that? He's a Texan. He's not Latino. He's a Texan.
I was at a bodega.
Dude, Hernandez is the man. He can do whatever he wants. I fucking love that guy so much, dude. Like, I'm so glad that. Like, I wish he was on TV more because he should be one of the Marvel characters. They haven't cast the Hulk yet, but see, that's the thing though. Cage is Thanos. Hulk would make it bigger than Cage. That's going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, build wise to the right and left, Hernandez is not much bigger.
It could be the Hulk before. That'd be fantastic. They need to get someone really skinny and small. It could be the Hulk as a nerd.
Hulk, smart Hulk.
Oh, I got to point out that I did a little tweet about bringing back Wing and having Dario Cueto as the new Victor Quinones. You know who liked that tweet? Marty the Moth Martinez. I'm just saying.
Of course.
Love that guy. Love Marty.
Love that guy too. I've never been on the show with him at the same time.
Well, we got to make that happen then. We got to make that happen sometime this spring, for sure.
I even told Conan he was one of my favorites on Lucha Underground.
Who, Marty? Yes.
Yeah. Top 3.
Which I think surprised him a little bit, but he was high, so nothing completely surprised him. Anyway, we get vignette number 3. It's a Chavo warm-up, and it's basically the exact same thing Katrina has already done, which is to put Chavo on notice that if he wins, he's got to face Mil Muertes.
Yeah, it's great that, the executive producer of the show, booked himself to be felt up by Katrina.
Just a producer, not executive, just producer.
Okay, just producer.
He was the lowest level of producer credit, I believe. Him and Tony Jensen, I think, both share a straight producer credit. Tony Jensen, who Conan buried, also on his interview.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah,
I've met Tony a few times. Like, I didn't think there's anything bad about Tony, but I don't know a lot about his backstage activities, so I can't speak to it one way or the other. But I will just say I don't have any kind of issue with Tony, but clearly Conan.
Yeah, like I think he got more shit than Fogelman did, and clearly Conan pointed directly to him. But I mean, they were also kind of at a similar level, so he probably interacted a lot more with it with Tony, and Tony was probably the messenger, I think, on a lot of occasions, bringing messages from either DeJoseph or Van Wagenen, or probably even Mr. Dorian rolled on himself. So I think Tony, as the messenger, may have gotten more heat from Conan than he necessarily deserved, but we'll just leave it at that. So we have that vignette, and then we have Marty the Moth versus Alberto El Patron. This is a huge moment for Marty at this point in his career, because this is probably the biggest name he's ever faced, I would imagine, at this point in his career, right? Yeah, it sucks that now you didn't brag about it, though.
Well, it was a good match. It served its purpose.
Dude, I was there and I know who won, but I was still hoping Marty would win. Is that weird?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there was any snowball's chance in hell. I mean, he was clearly used as a jobber right here, but he got over the creepy thing on Melissa, this was kind of the real start of that.
Debut. Yeah.
And he got the creeper chance.
He smelled her a little bit before, but this is like more of it. Yeah.
But this was the big sell, and I don't think she was anticipating it. I don't think she was told. And I think that just makes it even better, because Marty
Roderick Strong threw the mic at her and she didn't come back for the rest of the weekend.
Oh my God. She's not prepared for
PWG.
Mm-hmm.
No, see, I thought they only paid her rate or hired her for the first day because the guy who came the next 2 nights was so much better.
Who knows?
The guy that didn't wear socks.
Yeah, but he was so much better at
the home off the street.
Bola.
I don't trust people who don't wear socks with shoes. I'm just saying right now.
Sadly, it was a quick match for Marty. He was in and out of there pretty fast to Alberto's submission. What was that thing called? There was a name for it in WWE. I don't even remember though.
Cross arm breaker.
They call it cross arm breaker, even though it's a regular arm bar and not a cross arm breaker. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually does the MMA version. He gets some stick time, says Johnny woke up his dark side when he threw him through the window. I think that's because there was a bump sitting on Dario's desk that he got. Who knows? This is also right before his loony times with Paige, right?
Yeah, this is way before. Also, he got Juanito over immediately, though, which Juanito was pretty funny.
It was one of his better promos of all time, I think. But also, it definitely carries in a different context when he talks about his sinister side,
crazy side.
That felt like Chris Benoit talking about his sinister side.
Yeah, I don't disagree. There were some dark things in ADR's future very, very shortly after this,
and a lot of press conferences from Hooters.
Yep,
on the playground.
Yep. Anyway, moving on. So Chavo with the crew minus Bale. And I love the fact that the announcers are just like, where's Bale? How come he's not here? I love the fact that they don't know and they're not acknowledging it.
Let's be real. No announcer would really give a shit about Bale enough to be asking that question.
True, which is sad. I like B-Boy, but whatever.
Yeah, I do, but they didn't. I liked the Pirate.
Yeah, no, I did not like Bale. I like B-Boy. There's a difference. Bale,
and I like B-Boy, and I liked the Pirate. Okay.
Right. Also versus Prince Puma, Conan, stipulation not allowed to interfere, blah, blah, blah. This is also kind of a big match for Ricochet, and this, Chavo's a big name for him to be getting and is a ring veteran. I wasn't always a fan of how Chavo put himself over in Lucha Underground or how he was used, but I thought that this was actually a good use for Ricochet's purposes. He needed to get this guy under his belt.
I make fun of Prince Puma a lot, right? But rightfully so. We all do. And plus, he Cero Miedo'd me in the face once, and that was bullshit. But
you're still not over that.
No, you know what, Byron? I was right though, because who sent him packing from Lucha Underground?
You.
Yep.
Pentagon through making my will happen.
We helped.
Yeah, we helped. Also, I got to say though, as much as I think Prince Puma sucks, he hit the best version of the move he stole from Jack Evans in this match. The best 640 ever on Chavo, because Chavo was way too close to the corner and it made the rotations look even more brutal.
I remember when we were there and they came out for the match, Chavo came out and we noticed Chavo's looking pretty jacked, like relatively, like he's been hitting the gym. He's looking swole these days.
He's not as swole as he literally is right now in current time, though.
That's true. That's true.
But homeboy knew he was going to get felt up by Katrina and decided to get a few extra reps in.
I think so. I'm gonna go with that one.
But then, but it's just the main event match. It comes off weird on TV because when you were there live, you see right away his knee goes out, knee or hamstring, and this was where. This is where I think the vignette at the end of the show started that Blue Demon Jr. heel turn, because Chavo came back as a face from the knee injury.
Yeah.
Because we all felt bad for him.
Yeah. So, but was the injury that he actually went out with? This wasn't actually it. This was worse.
This is it. This is it. Yeah.
I mean, it looks legit when it happens because it's Puma rolling over his back. It's not an offensive move on his part. It's just a setup spot. Puma rolls over his back and he pulls up with the hammy or whatever. Turns out to be a knee injury later. But yeah, and you see even with the edit on TV, you see Marty Elias actually call in the crew to come into the ring and just be in the ring since it's a no DQ.
There was a lot of dead space they cut out when they were determining that Chavo was really hurt.
Yeah. But kudos to Marty Elias, too, for knowing what to do or for getting the call the right way from the back. It edited together fine for TV, and they got lucky that the setup was this no DQ thing. Or maybe they did retcon some of it. I don't know.
Also, kudos to Chavo for doing two big spots with the bum leg. One, he had to climb the ropes, which you could see the pain, and do the bump off the top, which you could see the pain. Yeah. And then then to take the 640, 630.
But don't forget, when they went to WrestleCon a few years later, Chavo was in a similar situation. Chavo is a tough son of a bitch. Don't ever doubt it. Whether you like the guy or not, Chavo is a real man, and he knows
all of the Guerreros.
Yeah, I mean, like he knows what he's supposed to do, and he is very much from the show must go on era of things, and he is not afraid to go in there and add insult to injury and finish the match. And I'm sure, and Marty Elias was the perfect ref to have in there. He knew what to do, how to handle this, how to make TV. And look, this is a taped show. They could have easily canned this, gone some different direction, not used this at all, but they made enough out of it to still have it be the headliner for this episode.
And we were all cheering for Chavo after that they had to cut early from too, because we knew he was hurt.
Yeah.
And that he stuck it out, it looks pretty fucked up.
I also love that this was a Prince Puma match, and Tejano is the one that gets to work the stick after. They even let guys who have English as a second language talk more than Puma, which is genius, and I love it.
Yeah, it was weird though.
Tejano's third language. To be fair.
Yeah,
Tejano comes out and fist bumps Puma after he says, "We're Mexico, Mexico's here," or "I'm whatever, Mexico's here." Yeah. And it's like, wait a second, this one guy's just pretending to be from Boyle Heights. He's not Mexico. Also,
it was just Kentucky is Mexico as fuck, bro.
That's true. But also, it was just weird. I loved having him come out and do the thing, but I don't know how it made sense or what his relationships with everyone was, because the Tejano should come out to the ring and just beat everyone up.
Yeah. And eventually we get to that version of Tejano, but again, they were misusing Tejano at this point, and I feel that was 100% Dorian Roldan's fault. That wasn't anyone else's fault but Dorian at this point to me.
I blame the booking 100%.
But they wouldn't let them book Tejano. They wouldn't let them book certain guys certain ways. Dorian was very adamant that certain guys were only going to be used in peripheral manners, and Tejano was one of those the first season.
See, if I get a guy like that I can only use sometimes, I have him win a lot like a fucking monster, so that when he comes in, he's special. It's the old Jerry Blackwell treatment.
But the whole thing was they purposely didn't want Tejano to have the rub in Lucha Underground because it was ADRs. Because ADR and Tejano had been this big feud in Mexico, and ADR had the belt, and he was asserting himself at the time. There just wasn't an option to do big things with Tejano. And this honestly was even surprising when it happened, that Tejano was getting this much of a rub at this point in time, because they had purposely downplayed him. They hadn't sent him up to the US very much. They were running him. Don't forget, he was headlining almost every show south of the border at the time.
Tejano?
He was still one of their big guys. He was in all the top feuds at the time, while ADR was now doing the Lucha Underground thing and not doing as much for Mexico as he was supposed to be doing. So Tejano was filling in as the last guy in a top feud.
That's a recurring theme for ADR to not do all the shows he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but I mean, look, he was a big star for both companies, so they weren't really in a place to argue, and they were both using him relatively well for what they could get. They weren't not getting their juice out of it. I mean, you see the crowd here, and we weren't upset about ADR and Lucha Underground at the time either. Yeah. I mean, it was working. So what are you going to do?
I love it.
And sadly, that was to the demise of Tejano getting a big push the first season. Anyway, you get a post vignette. It's the Blue Demon one. It's the Yo Soy Mexico thing that we've talked about. The only thing that was funny about it was the Tejano gets over better than you thing, because it was true.
Yeah, we do get a cool that played out way better in person than on TV. We get a cool Blue Demon Jr. heel turn out of this pretty soon, where he was funny as fuck. Yeah.
I mean, the quote too about him not being Mexico because he's really just chilling and retired in Mexico or in Miami was equally funny. Like, and I was surprised too that in a promo, a post credits promo in Lucha Underground, that you kind of had this, inside kayfabe promo going on here. But whatever, it was fun. Anyway, that's it. Lucha Underground Rewind. That was season 1, episode 34, Golden Guerreros. You can still watch it on Tubi. Who knows for how much longer now that all the bizarreness is happening.
Dude, Tubi takes it off. I'm never talking about the show again, so I hope they do.
I don't know, man. I like Tubi.
Tubi.
Tubi's got a lot of great stuff on it. I find myself watching it more than I had anticipated, even with.
No, I mean Lucha Underground. If they take Lucha Underground off, I'm never talking about it on this show again. I love Tubi, dude. We could watch.
But I'm still
Tubi Network now.
Hey, look, I'm even on Tubi, so how much can I complain? All right, we'll be right back. We got a couple more things to talk about. I've got one more piece of tasty news that I want to get into with you guys. So we'll be right back after this.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
You guys, I'm so hungry and tired.
What? You're hungry? The commercial break makes you hungry, Byron?
No, I'm doing like less than 1,000 calories a day. I'm trying to lose 30 pounds in a week.
Well, shaving the beard was probably 5 pounds of it, so that was a good start. Meef, are you going to do a cookbook? It's got to be better than anything Kleinrock would do.
In one. Well, no, it's technically because of Kevin.
Well, okay.
You can pre-order it now for June.
Kevin is fully fine to be an editor of a cookbook. I just don't know if I ever want to eat his recipes.
Oh, that's true.
Wait, is this coming out in June or is this coming out in June Kleinrock time? Like
I said June. I didn't tell you year. I said June.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Wait, where can you buy it?
Wait, you've got something in the cookbook in this Lucha Libre cookbook thing. Awesome.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys.
Are you allowed
between La Parca and Fenix?
Are you allowed to tell us what you cooked for us in this book, or you're not allowed to say yet?
It's best. Let's just put it this way: if you imagine what I'm going to cook, it's going to be probably that.
See, guys, you guys don't know it.
So it's English Mexican food.
Look, English food is normally
look at this
crap. Eat like a
luchador.
So you got to be on the cover? That's fucking crazy.
That's not. Oh, it is me.
You wait until you see the picture of me in there. It's fantastic.
Which is amazing. See, what you guys don't know is that Meef will tease us every now and then by showing us, the Mexican food that he's cooking over there in England. And it always looks pretty delicious, given I've never actually eaten any of Meatloaf's food, but I can't say that I doubt him from the pictures I've seen.
You know what I had today though, Justin?
What's that?
Nacho fries.
Oh, so good. Yeah. I've had them twice this week, so
they keep on coming up on my adverts on Spotify. But we don't have
nacho fries from.
You don't have you don't have Taco Bell. Oh,
yes,
we have Taco Bell. No, we have Taco Bell, but I don't have one anywhere near me. We literally don't have a KFC in my town.
There's no Falmouth Taco Bells and KFCs, eh?
Oh my god, we got McDonald's.
KFCs are a little few and far between here lately too.
Yeah, well, we had chicken one year.
You just need Popeye's chicken. You don't need KFC. What the fuck?
Oh, fuck you, dude.
Fuck KFC.
No, what we need is TGI Fridays.
Fuck Popeyes for ruining Pioneer's chicken and buying them out.
Whatever, man. All of the Pepsi-owned chains are good. Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, and KFC. I'm done with all of them.
Did you were you living in California when Pioneer Chicken was a thing?
No, I don't think. Well, I don't know. I've been. Lived in California 20 years. So.
I've heard Byron's a big fan of Five Guys.
I think it's gone by then.
Yeah.
Five Guys is okay. I'd rather In-N-Out or
Shake
Shack.
You told us you love having Five Guys in your mouth repeatedly.
Yeah.
Wow. So look,
I got the part of the show I'm editing out.
Yeah, no, let me get to the last piece of tasty news.
And we're back.
I don't know if this is tasty news or not because I can't figure out what's going on. AAA is back on YouTube ?
But not on YouTube, but
some people can get it, some people can't. I don't understand what's going on. If there's some kind of
people are smart enough to use a VPN where they can get it.
I'm saying without a VPN, it came back. I started getting stuff in my feed. I got something about Scarlet Wrestling. I got their new Autos Luchas post that went up Saturday. And at first I could only click them and get them to play from my feed. And then the actual page was back for me, but then Kleinrock wasn't able to get it.
Look what I got.
Okay, now
so what's going on here?
Okay, so Kleinrock wasn't able to see it, which
here's what I did.
Absolutely chalk up to user error.
I searched AAA, and then I went down to a AAA match here. Okay,
you have to search AAA Lucha Libre. Okay, yeah. So
but I found them.
You click. Don't click there. Click the actual video.
Okay,
because the video will play. So so if you click the video link, the video plays, but you can't go to their actual page, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I was having that problem at first yesterday, but now I can actually get to the full page on my phone. I haven't tried it on my computer. It's really weird. So I guess the news is that nobody knows what's quite going on with it. It feels like they're trying to target US again and put some of this stuff up for the US, but maybe there's some technical issues in relaunching it back or some coding that didn't get quite done right. Or maybe it's still an issue and they're just lax on it sliding through. Maybe because I'm in Cleveland and I'm so close to Canada, my cell phone is reading off of Canada and not the US. I don't know. Even though I think it's banned in Canada right now too. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting tidbit. Nobody really knows what's going on with AAA right now. It's so weird. I do know that they're still in the red zone and they don't have any live wrestling events planned for AAA for the next couple of weeks. We'll see. They're supposed to have some indie thing coming up in Texas that looks like it could be interesting, but I don't know if that'll actually make it off the ground or not with COVID being such a huge issue here in the States right now. The numbers are just astronomical. You haven't been hearing about it much because of all of our fun election shenanigans that I won't even remotely get into. But it's a weird time.
Thank you.
Last thing I want to mention real quick is I want to talk WWE for a second, just because, this lady. Oh, can I show that? Am I allowed to show that?
You can show whatever you want, man.
Audio listeners, in case you're wondering, what we're talking about is mostly Charlotte Flair here. Anyway, Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans, Ric Flair involved. Woo! I just want to say that, there's nothing interesting about the storyline, and I don't care. I still like it because I like Rick being involved, and the fact that he's, cheating his daughter out of wins because he's kind of trying to hit on Lacey Evans. This guy who
two white women from the South beating each other up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's hilarious. This is so old school wrestling on so many levels that it just makes me like it, because it has so been done a million times, this angle in various forms, but it hasn't been done in so long, and so much of WWE is just garbage that I am somehow entertained by this completely whack-ass storyline with Lacey Evans, Charlotte, and Ric Flair. And Ric Flair, keep in mind,
if they do a Dawn Marie style, they do a Dawn Marie style finish.
It's the exact same Ric Flair. I don't know.
You know, Rick would love that, but this is such an old man.
That's the way he's wanted to retire, and no one would give it to him.
This is almost even like an angle Ric Flair could pull off in his prime.
And look,
because Ric Flair wouldn't fucking tie himself down to one woman. Come on.
I know. And I like giving the man the rub. And even Charlotte's promo afterwards, where she was like, yeah, whatever. My dad's Ric Flair. Of course the hot chick has got him screwing me over. Like, the fact that she was so matter of fact about it in the promo, I just thought was genius too, because her dad is Ric Flair. It's not like,
have you met my dad? This is what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
She's like, my mom's the second wife, right?
Yeah, and it's just it's funny. And Charlotte, whatever she did to her face, new nose or whatever it is, looks great also, and she looks great in the ring. I'll tell you what it did make me think, though, watching her wrestle Lacey Evans. It made me realize that I really, at some point in time, absolutely have to see Charlotte Flair versus Taya. I don't know why, but I just
because you're a pervert.
No, it's not even. I don't even think that. I mean.
I just
feel like they're two of the best female wrestlers. They're two of the best female wrestlers ever, and I'd really like to see them in the ring at some point.
I bet you would.
Just one time
to see them in their ring.
Whatever.
I bet you'd like to see the brown ring.
Look, Ty has been impressive on Impact recently. Morrison, however,
Guys, what's the deal? What's the deal with the earmuffs?
Yeah. Has she found a baseball?
I don't even know if they're part of her Wear a Loca clothing line or not, but yet the earmuffs seem to be a thing.
But then it's like, why are they part of your clothing line if you live in California?
Because she's the Valkyrie. She's supposed to be this Nordic
She's
warrior.
Canadian, dude.
I know, but she's Taya Valkyrie.
Just like Freddie Mercury.
You know what? Yeah, the Canadian thing makes sense then. Yeah, I forgot she was Canadian.
Yeah, but you would be warm. If you're Canadian, you'd be warm in California. So therefore,
but her character is also supposed to be a Nordic warrior. They're crossing too many lines. The problem
whoa. Right, one thing. Let's get one thing straight here, right? As a person of Viking blood,
yeah, same.
Cases too.
Yes,
motherfuckers ain't wearing no earmuffs.
Again,
maybe and a dead animal.
I think her gimmick isn't a gimmick, and that's part of the problem. She's Canadian, but she's a luchadora, and she wrestles in America, and she's got a Nordic
Tiffany
gimmick. It doesn't make any sense at all. Somebody needs to actually define her actual gimmick.
Oh, dude, Tiffany used to shop at the bookstore that I worked at. She's like super nice. Dude, if you guys want to see a good documentary, watch that documentary about.
I thought you were going to go somewhere deeper than that.
Stock Tiffany, it's called. I think We're Alone Now. And it's two different stalkers of Tiffany. Amazing documentary.
I would watch that. Keith Lee makes a ring buckle explode and does 2 matches. And boy, they're using a whole lot of Keith Lee. He did.
Yeah, somebody that needs to know how to work, pal.
I got to be honest with you. I thought that spot was dumb because they just used it as a commercial transition.
Yeah.
So like.
And they did it. A bunch of highlights of Keith Lee knocking people out with his pounce.
But like but it didn't make a difference in anything. When they came back from commercial, everything was fixed, right?
Remember when Yokozuna wrestled Stone Cold and he lost because he was too fat to do the bonsai drop, and then like the turnbuckle broke, so Stone Cold rolled him up? That was tremendous. I'm just saying.
No, and everything that happened here and the Sheamus, blah, 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 whatever. You want to talk about a tag team slut, Sheamus, there's one for you right there.
I've never liked Sheamus in my whole life.
Well, and that's why they can't figure out what to do with him, because most wrestling fans would probably agree.
He looks like Byron.
I like him. He's okay, but...
No, my friend I used to work with said, hey, Sheamus is shopping in the store right now. And I said, spit in his face. He didn't do it, though.
My biggest issue was... Man, and Byron and I talked about this a little earlier.
We did.
Week. Morrison he's in such a weird place. He's making the money he always wanted to make. He's got the schedule he's always wanted. He's never leaving WWE again. There's absolutely no reason for him to. He gets enough TV time, but man, they are never, ever, ever going to do more with him. They're never going to use him right. It's so.
If he's happy, he's happy. You know,
he is 100% happy, and I'm happy for him. And some of the comedy bits have been great too, but you can see the ring work falling off more and more every time because he's not excited about the actual ring work anymore, and he doesn't have to be. He never will be again. He's going into veteran WWE performer. Now, maybe he'll be like
a great trainer down in NXT.
Yeah, he would. He really would. But maybe he'll do a Randy Orton thing where eventually at some point he'll have a big resurgence and get fired up again, because you can see it in Randy right now. Randy... like 2 or 3 years ago when he did his runs, you could tell he didn't care. He didn't have it in him. He was just there for the paycheck and to be still a part of something. But now he's got something in him that he really wants to be the top guy. This
is his Hall of Fame run.
Yeah, this is it right here. He wants to prove something, and he's doing a pretty good job of it so far. So that's fun to see. And the main event with Triple H on this particular episode of Raw, this was my once a month Raw, by the way. I don't know that you'll get another Raw commentary from me again for another 4 weeks, but it was fun to see Triple H doing something, even though it was silly. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a great use of H coming off of the Legends Week thing. The flaming sledgehammer moment was fun. Alexa doing the fireball thing. I thought was a well done stunt. That's the kind of stuff exactly that they should be doing in an empty arena show. It looked like it was clearly pre-taped also, even though they say live in the corner. I don't believe that Raw is actually live right now, is it? A lot of elements felt very taped and edited together. Even how smooth the broken ring buckle transition happened.
I don't think it's live. But Jim has been on the show. He's been a fan in the Thunderdome, so so he would know more than us.
That's why he doesn't come on the show anymore.
Yeah.
But they also use stock footage as well, don't they?
Well, Jim was on NXT this week, right in the front row. If you go back, you'll see Jim left center right there in the front row on NXT and that Thunderdome version, whatever CWC's version is. And Paulie Culver of being tortured by Kevin Cross fame made it onto the Raw wall this week. So that's
awesome. Kind
of fun to see too. Anyway, that's all I have. I don't want to talk about WWE Big Show too much. I just thought that the Charlotte thing was interesting with Ric Flair.
We know why
I appreciate it. Look, I talked about Charlotte's wrestling. I talked about Red Velvet's wrestling. That's all, man. They're just.
Justin needs to leave so he can get a drink because he's thirsty.
Did you talk about Steve's wrestling? Did you talk about Randy Orton's wrestling? No, you talked about their angles. But if it's a girl, you'll talk all about the wrestling.
Oh, really? What is? Oh,
hold for hold. He's paying attention. The guys
fan of women's wrestling.
In the ring.
No comment.
He's like, I'd like to see them develop a bow and arrow submission in their repertoire.
Look, I just got a IG notice from Red Velvet's IG, so I'm going to go and take care of that right now.
Hey,
so
did you want to talk about
no, Byron? Until next time,
Dexter.
He's got to spank it, Byron. Jesus.
I'll talk about Dexter next week because Uncle Tony there, Tony Lucasio, sent me some old matches of Dexter's because I said last week on the show I didn't know much about Dexter Lumis, but I was really enjoying his stuff. But
I thought we were talking about how the show's coming back. Oh.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
So anyway, no, I want to talk about Dexter Lumis next week. I'm going to watch some of his old stuff.
Stay calm.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. So we'll talk about it next week, and I'm going to watch more of the stuff that Tony Lucasio sent me there and see what Dexter was like before NXT, because I'm absolutely loving where he's at right now. And Tony says that he was great even before that. So we'll find out, and I'll give you my opinion next week. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.